Why do people always get their panties in a bunch about women who are divorced keeping their ex last name? I'm actually sick of hearing about it. Hey, I'm Osha Cerese, your dream doula, supporting you with birthing the life, love, and business you desire. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And let's get into this topic. I hear so much criticism about this topic, and it grinds my gears when certain people try to drag certain women for keeping their last name. And for one, why is it anybody's freaking business anyway? Why are you even worried about what somebody's last name is? But let's just talk about it. You know the example I'm about to use that everybody really drags about keeping their last name, and that's Drea Kelly. She was married to R. Kelly. I mean, I understand why some people bring that up. It's because she called him out for being an abuser and she shared her story. But I think it's unfair for people to try to drag her and get in her business of why she hasn't changed her last name. First of all, there's a lot of people who have their abusers' last names, and the abuser might not necessarily be the ex husband. It could be the current husband, or it could be the father, or someone else. But you don't see anybody else getting dragged about keeping that last name. She shouldn't have to silence herself and not be able to tell her story because she still carries this man's last name. For one, her children have that last name. They have 3 children together. So if she wants to keep the last name, to have the same last name as her children, that's her prerogative. Also, she married him. She went through what she went through, and it's her prerogative as well to just keep the name because it's her name at this point. He does not own the name. And that's what I think a lot of people get twisted about. Like, yeah, we're taught about these bloodlines and these lineages and all of this as if we all coming from royal blood. But let's keep it real. When we're talking about Black Americans, most of these last names that we have are slave names anyway. So they don't even really hold the energy that you're making it seem that they hold. These names did not necessarily belong to us in the first place. Drea Kelly has said herself that one of the reasons why she keeps her last name is for awareness, because if she was Drea Jones or whatever it is, whatever her maiden name is, she wouldn't get the attention that she gets by holding the name of Drea Kelly. Now she gets the awareness, she gets the publicity, she gets the opportunities to be able to share her story or to be able to help other people. And I don't think she's wrong for that. If she can benefit from the last name of someone who has put her through so much, why not? Why should she not be able to have some redemption for what she's gone through? And if one of the perks is being able to have opportunities that she might not necessarily get without the last name, then why shouldn't she be able to keep it? I've seen plenty of women keep their last name and nobody mentions anything. We got Eddie Murphy's ex-wife, Nicole Murphy, Tori Hart, Kevin Hart's ex-wife, and most famously, Tina Turner. Her name was Anna Mae Bullock, but her stage name that became her legal name was Tina Turner. And that was all she wanted from her marriage because she earned it and that was her stage name. And a lot of people operate under their married names as their stage name. They're doing business, they have degrees, they have certain credentials in their married name. And it takes a lot to reinvent yourself with a new last name that some people don't want to deal with. Even Kris Jenner, she still got her last name, and Shawnee O'Neal kept her last name until she got married to a new man. And nobody ever says a word about any of those other women, as they shouldn't, because it's none of their business. It just seems like it's an issue when it comes to Drea Kelly. And it just rubs me the wrong way because why are y'all attacking this woman because she shared her story? Tina Turner shared her story as well, but you never see anyone disrespecting why she didn't return to her maiden name. Some women decide that they don't want to go back to their maiden name because of just being disconnected from it, whether they had an absent father or an abusive father or the family trauma, or maybe their family name got a little dirt on it. You don't know. Or maybe they went through the worst parts of their life when they had this last name and they no longer want to be associated with it. If you've legally changed your name and the marriage doesn't work out, everybody doesn't want to go back to the maiden name. And apart from the emotional connection to the last name, it takes a lot to get back to your maiden name. You have to go to the Social Security office, you got to get a new card, you got to go get a new driver's license, you got to change your passports, your bank accounts, your emails. It just requires a lot. And if you were married for a long period of time, you've embodied this new identity with this last name for so long that sometimes it's just too inconvenient to readjust and go back to your maiden name. And I'm not speaking about this from a spectator's perspective. I actually have experienced this myself. I've had three last names. I'm 37 years old and I've already had three last names. So I was born with my mother's last name, and it was because back then in Birmingham, if the parents weren't married, the baby automatically went into the mother's last name. My dad is very particular about his children having his last name, and he's very prideful about his last name. So by the time I was getting through elementary school, my parents took the initiative to get my name changed when I was like 8 or 9 years old. We had to go to court so that my name could be legally changed to my father's last name. And that was an adjustment for me as well, because I had always been known to have this particular last name through, kindergarten, first and second grade, I think maybe even third grade. I had to adjust to change to my dad's last name. I ended up getting married at the age of 22. So I had my ex husband's last name. And based on all the things I went through in my marriage, I felt like I felt like Tina Turner. Baby, I've earned this last name. So even through the hardships and the ups and downs and the turmoil and the trauma that came along with my marriage, I felt like because of that, I'm gonna hold on to this name for a little while because I earned it through initiation, okay? Real talk, when I did get divorced, I of course I was still heartbroken when I went through my divorce. And it wasn't really a priority of mine to rush and go get my name changed because honestly, I didn't feel like going through all the loops and hoops to do it. I didn't feel like going to get a new social security card and a new ID and all of that. So I was a little lax about it. And then unfortunately, my ex-husband was unalive about a year and 3 months or something like that after our divorce was final. And so at that time, I was grieving him heavily. And I didn't feel right getting my name changed because that was my connection to him, that I shared his last name. And I remember one of the last times that I saw him, showing him my ID, like, I still got your last name, boy. Like, you still mine and I'm still yours. But no, when we were going through that part of our divorce where we were seeing each other again after not seeing each other for a long time and realizing, like, wow, I was really with you for all these years and we're no longer together. So we had that moment. And when he passed away so tragically and unexpectedly, I just didn't feel right rushing to change my last name. And then I moved to a new city. I moved to a new state about a month and a half after he passed away. And I went through some things. I was depressed. I had to figure out, life in a new city and getting my nursing license and all of that in a new state. I didn't want to have to deal with the name change on top of figuring out how to get my nursing license active in this state. So I just kept pushing it off, pushing it off, pushing it off. And then I got to the point where I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just keep the last name until another man earns the right to get me to change it again. And I really just kind of settled for that because at that point I had been having the last name of my ex-husband longer than any other last name that I had of my parents. So I got used to it. I've done business with it. All my bank accounts, everything is in his name, in his last name. So I was just like, ain't no point of even wasting time doing it. But as I have evolved and my thinking has changed and my mindset around the energy of a name has changed, my process of healing from the grief of him no longer being here and us going through our divorce, I've done so much healing work to process that I'm like, you know what? There's energy attached to his last name. There's a whole family that I'm no longer a part of. And there was a lot of pain attached to it as well. So I did make the decision to go back to my maiden name. I started the process a few years ago. And then in the middle of the process, I just didn't finish it. I think I got the social security card, but I didn't get the ID and all the things changed. And I lost the social security card. So I put it off for another year or two. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, I finally did go back to my maiden name. Just leaving the social security office, I had to get a replacement social security card because I cannot find the one that I ordered a couple of years ago. I'm actually going back to my maiden name. It's been over 11 years since I was divorced and over 10 years since my ex-husband passed. And I started the process a couple years ago and got my new social security card. And I have no idea where it is. I've been looking for it for like a year and a half, so I don't know where it is. And so I stopped procrastinating and went on ahead and got a new one. Just ordered a new one. When it gets here in 2 weeks, I will go handle my business to get a new ID and get all of the things that I need to get changed, which is everything. And from 22 to 35, going on 36, I've had my ex-husband's last name. So I've had his name longer than any other name that I've ever had. And it's like, I'm ready to go back to my maiden name, but at the same time, it's weird because, again, I've had this last name for over, almost 14 years. And yeah, that's been my name. It's my identity. So it's almost like shedding part of myself, letting go, detaching from what's no longer. I feel like I am ready to go ahead and get back to my maiden name and just, release all of the attachment that I have remaining from my marriage, my previous marriage. So I just want to take y'all on the journey and really document my own emotions for the process, because who knows? I might be sad when I go back to my maiden name, because it's literally like closing the chapter for real of who I've been for the past going on 14 years. So it's interesting, but new moon, new name, new energy, new attitude. It's interesting. Right now I feel fine. I don't have any reservations for what I'm doing. It's deeper than what I'm actually sharing, because going back to my maiden name, that's also got some emotional attachment to that too. So hey, let's get it done. They are making it so difficult for me to get back to my maiden name. Now they saying that my divorce decree is a copy and not an official document.
Station 20.
Is that the signature that's going on my card? Mm-hmm. Can I do it again? Oh, I haven't done my old signature in so long. There it is.
Station 9.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm leaving the driver's license place. I'm officially back to my maiden name. I got the temporary license. And now all I have to do is wait for my new card in the mail. It'll be 30, 45 days, they said. So, the next thing I want to do is go ahead and reapply for my passport, because I do have a passport that expired this year. I have a passport that expired in 2020, and I let it expire because I hadn't done all the things that I need to do to get my name changed, because my passport is in my maiden name as well. So that's the next order of business. And of course I have to do all the things to change my bank accounts and my contact information on all my important things. So that's the next up next. How do I feel? I don't feel anything right now. Maybe it's because I don't have my new ID and I haven't used my new name, of course, yet. I'm so moisturized right now. I look crazy. And my new, I want it to be natural in my new ID picture, so I didn't put on any makeup. But it hasn't dawned on me yet, because I have not used my name yet. Even when I was signing my signature, which my signature is not really legible, so it's not like, oh, you can clearly tell that I'm from one name to another. But the way I write it is a little bit different with my maiden name than it has been with my married name. So I'm gonna have to get used to that too. So right now I don't feel anything, but I guess it'll just be a matter of getting used to going back to that name. So that's the update. I'm ready for my debut. I would put some makeup on if I know I couldn't smile. Okay. It ain't working.
Usually don't, but hey, you can try. All right, we go. Smile jobs. That's what I tell people, like chiropractors.
That's right, smiles.
Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. I think that's all right.
And I do believe that there is energy attached to names, and that I felt like even when it comes to love, me personally, this is for my own journey, not for any other woman's journey. I felt like having my ex-husband's last name was still almost allowing him to be a placeholder in my love life. And I wanted to sever the ties energetically to be able to be fully open to receiving a new love. And that was my concept about it. And I feel like it made sense for me. And so that was the decision that I made. But before I came to that conclusion, nobody was going to shame me about carrying my ex-husband's last name for as long as I wanted to do it. Even though I've gone through trauma and things with him, and he was not the best husband, and I was not doing everything that I needed to do as a wife, and we went through problems and all of that, could nobody tell me when or if I should change my last name, because it was my last name at that point. I earned it. It was mine. I've done business in it. I'm used to it. This is who I am. So I say all that to say that even though I did make the choice to go back to my maiden name, that everybody has the right to make that choice for themselves. And y'all need to get out of people's business when it comes to that, and just mind your own business and focus on your own last name and who gets to have it. Concern yourself with your own lineage and leave people alone. You never know why people are keeping their last name, and it's none of your business. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you feel like divorced women should immediately go back to their maiden name? Or do you think that a name is a name? It's not really a big deal? Or do you think it's their prerogative? Let me know in the comments and let's talk about it. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll talk to you later.